Oh, yep. Look. Oh, no. Marshon Lattimore missed practice again today.
It's not exciting news, man.
No, but it is what should have probably happened.
Yeah.
Hamstring injuries are particularly finicky. And if you did not know, Marshon Lattimore has a hamstring injury. And I thought that it was not going to be as big of a deal, but I was wrong. Catherine Terrell did a good job of laying it out for us a bit yesterday. And some other folks have laid out some information. And then all of a sudden today, it's like, oh, nope, he's not practicing again. So it does look like Marshon is unlikely to play. I just can't imagine, even if he gets on the field in a limited capacity tomorrow, I just can't imagine that they're going to put him out there with zero meaningful practice. Because like Friday can be super specific with some stuff, but typically Friday practices are a lot shorter and the bulk of the work has already been done. You're kind of ramping down the week to make sure that you're fresh for Sunday. So I just can't imagine that they go through a Wednesday and a Thursday practice and all of the first and second down work, all of the third down work, and whether Friday is red zone or whatever other situational stuff they do, that you're just going to put him out there for that stuff and then say, all right, go play on Sunday. That feels short-sighted and risky because hamstrings are kind of, if they're not 100%, they're pretty prone to re-injury. And so I kind of think that Marshon Lattimore is probably not going to play on Sunday. And so that then gets us back to the status quo of, well, okay, what does that mean for now? It means Noah Igbenogany in the slot. It means St. Juste outside on George Pickens a lot. It means Sainristil obviously on the other snaps where he's outside. It means both those guys have to deal with Mike Williams in his first game as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And then I think the big question is, can you get Lattimore healthy for Thursday? Because remember, as much as so many of us have finally stopped looking ahead because this Pittsburgh game has been looming all month through like the Carolina game and some of these other their outings. The Eagles game's on Thursday. It is a quick turnaround. And so bad time to get a guy who you're trying to get on the field to lose those extra 3 days for the hamstring. So we'll see is kind of the short version of it. The long version of it is, we're going to see when he gets on the field. That's about as much as we got right now. It's a hamstring. Not great. Joe Whitt Jr. Was at the podium today and was asked a couple of questions, obviously, about Marshon Lattimore and kind of the long term of it all. And first, like, what does Lattimore's impact have on the rest of the defense, starting with the pass rush?
Well, let's not neglect what the guys that here have done. Okay, all right. I think the only thing that we haven't done is intercept the ball. Okay, I think we're fifth in pass defense. Those guys that have been covering, okay, and the sacks that we've had, yes, we've won some up time, but some of them are coverage sacks. So let's not act like Juice and Mikey and Noah and Chin and those guys haven't been playing solid ball. All right, they have. So one guy's not going to come and just change all that. He's added to what we're doing. He's not going to make us be what we're going to be. He's added to the group, and we're excited to have him. But I'm not going to sit here and discard the guys that we have that I'm happy that we have. All right, so let's not do that.
I think that's a great answer from Joe Whitt. One, I think it buys you a lot of validation in the locker room, and that matters a lot more than making whatever fan is yelling, Benjamin St. Juste sucks, in our YouTube comments. And there's a lot of you, if we're being honest. So the one, that's important. Two, I think it's true. Like, I appreciate Joe because I think he's truthful. I think he gets it. There's certain things he's going to say maybe a little bit more with his chest or a little more revealing than others. He's a smart guy. But at the same time, like, this is a defense that has continually grown and gotten better and better and better as the year has gone on. And that is something that is a credit to them. We talked earlier in the year about how what guys were coming into the year is not going to be what they are coming out of it. And guys like St. Juste are definitely an example of that. While he still has more room to grow, he's better now than he was in week one. You have guys like Sainristil obviously have grown tremendously, especially considering how much time he spent inside in camp, and now he's playing outside. Noah's been a good player. This is a former first-round pick who got let go by the team that took him in Miami. And, over a couple of years of working with the Dan Quinn system last year in Dallas and now with Joe and Dan here in DC, like he's become a solid nickel player. Like he's not amazing, but he's a good football player. Quan has played his best football this year. Chin, think about what he was week 1, week 2, where, yeah, he was put in some tough spots, but he also definitely missed some stuff. And now, like, that dude is playing lights out. Best game was his last one. So if you can continue to grow that, like, that's obviously really good. I think we've seen the pass rush continually get better. Bobby and Frankie have kind of been consistent all year long. That's kind of who they are. But overall, this is a defense that has continued to grow and meld. That said, there's a reason they added Marshon Lattimore. So what's the trickle-down effect of bringing in someone who is as good as Marshon Lattimore?
Oh, how it affects other players. Like I tell you each week, we're going to play the guys that gives us the best chance to win. So I'm not worried about a trickle down effect there. We put people in position each week. Let's say Marshon's not here, it would be the same way. So from that standpoint, the style that we want to play an aggressive style of ball, and that's what he is. And I just like the mentality that he plays with, what he brings to the room from a mindset of, I'm going to get after you. I'm going to get up and challenge you. If you beat me, all right, you're going to have to beat me again. He's never going to, back off. That's what I really like, and I think that's what will add to that room where we do have some young players that haven't necessarily been in some of those hard battles. He's battle-tested against really good players.
He is. He's played in playoff games. He just brings an institutional knowledge of the league to that room that was missing, even if Joe can say all he wants that he likes the guys there, and he does, but he said it at the end. This is a different caliber guy. This is a guy with different experiences than everyone else in that room, and that is invaluable as they move towards a place that they all want to get to, and that he, as in Marshon Lattimore, has been. Of course, the Commanders weren't the only team in this Steelers-Commanders matchup that made some moves this week. So that's right, the Steelers. There's only one other team. Got that? Cool, got it. So they're also coming off a bye week, which is a pretty big advantage. They can make some tweaks. They can do some stuff. They obviously had a chance to think about these moves before they made them and probably had a plan to implement some guys without having to worry about a game. So what's the week of planning like for Joe Whitt?
Well, and them coming off a bye, so they're going to be some unscouted looks because, they did some self-scout stuff. And always when you come off a bye, you have some new wrinkles. He gives them somebody opposite 14, that can go vertically up the field. And so now, boom, there's shots on both sides for Russell. And what does Russell do best? He throws the deep ball really, really well. He's done that for a long time. Just throw the ball outside the numbers, and now they can go 12 personnel and put guys outside, block it up, and give them shot opportunities on both sides where there's 50-50 balls, and that is a problem.
It is, because that is kind of their offense. As we talked through it this morning on Take Command, Logan kind of gave his scouting report. That's out now, by the way, if you would like to check it out after this show, because you're going to keep listening to us right now. But Logan talked about, he's like, look, man, their pass offense is a lot of these 50-50 balls. Their rush offense, they'll run it. They're not actually the most efficient running team. Najee Harris is playing really good football the last 3 weeks. He's had the best stretch of his career from a production standpoint. So some things are starting to come together. We'll talk about that more with Andrew Filipponi at 5 o'clock from 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. But this is a Pittsburgh pass offense that is not dink dunk, run after catch. We're gonna zing you here and then hit a deep dig and we got comeback. No, it is, hey, Russ, check it out there, baby. And if you can intercept a couple of those balls, like, that is a game changer. But Pickens is fantastic, and Mike Williams is fantastic. And, St. Juice has gotten mossed a couple times, obviously, in his career in this season. He's been better this season overall, but we'll see. But that is something where you got to be able to get pressure, and you can kind of deny one of those if you can send safety help over the top. It makes it a lot easier. Russ can't just put a bunch of air under it and throw it out there because the safety is going to come over and pick it off. Well, if you have it on both sides of the field, that becomes a little harder to do in terms of dedicating one side or the other, because you're always basically guaranteeing either a light box because there's two high safeties to cover, or a one-on-one matchup on one side of the field that Russ can then pick which one based off of where the safety is shaded. Stoffman Show. We're on the Team 980. We're always live as well on the free Odyssey app. And when we get back, you'll hear from the other coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury also spoke today about whether or not TJ Watt is keeping him up at night and the other challenges presented by this top-ranked Steelers defense. That's next on the Team 980.